about the fight. So that would be very.
Do you have any concern that?
No,
just
I mean,
of
look,
how
they've
ludicrous it is.
He's had you over. I don't see this happening. I'm just thinking
at a distance, and fake Paul can't fight. He just can't. I don't care what anybody tells me. He can't fucking fight. He lost to Tom.
Eddie Hearn explodes after Jake Paul cancels the Anthony Joshua fight before 2 weeks. Hearn's fury is brutal. He's calling Jake Paul a paper tiger with zero guts. Millions spent, fans hyped, and this YouTube clown folds. His ego is bigger than his courage, and the boxing world is left shaking their heads at this cowardly stunt.
To pull out with all the money that's been spent and for squeaky bum time is not the way forward. And I think Jake Paul's game.
Eddie Hearn is seething, and rightfully so. Jake Paul has embarrassed himself and the sport, quitting a fight the world was waiting to see. Hearn's anger isn't just words, it's a full-blown call-out, painting Paul as a scared, overhyped internet clown who can't handle a real challenge. The boxing community is watching in disbelief, and Jake just turned what could have been a career-defining moment into a complete meltdown.
You know, it's something that we took very seriously and something that a lot of work has gone into. And obviously it hasn't been resolved, and it was attempted to be struck out.
Frank Warren doesn't hold back. This isn't a fight, it's a disaster waiting to happen. Jake Paul has turned what should have been a showcase into a walking car crash, and everyone knows it. Fans aren't tuning in to witness skill, they're bracing for humiliation. AJ would steamroll him, and Paul's hype is evaporating faster than his courage.
do it or not, this is a car crash. And people will watch it because that's what people do at car crashes. And that's what this is.
Frank Warren makes it clear, Jake Paul's fitness is under serious scrutiny. This isn't about talent, it's about whether he can even survive a real heavyweight challenge. Every failed check chips away at his credibility. Fans and promoters alike are left wondering if this wannabe fighter is finally exposed for the scared, overhyped clown he truly is.
And we're determining whether he's going to be fit to box. If he's not well enough, then obviously he won't fight, but we don't know what the outcome is yet. And in the meantime,
Spencer Brown's panic is palpable. The chaos behind the scenes shows how unprepared and unreliable Jake Paul is. AJ's team is calm, calculated, and ready, while Paul scrambles to keep his crumbling circus afloat. Every call, every back and forth highlights the giant gap between a true champion and this social media boxer pretending he belongs in a heavyweight ring.
Well, we knew half an hour ago. You probably noticed I've been on the phone running back and forth.
Adam Smith points out the obvious. Jake Paul's illness feels more like a weak excuse than reality. Fans and insiders aren't buying it. Health is important, sure, but this just exposes Paul dodging the inevitable. Anthony Joshua stays ready, focused, and disciplined, making Paul's excuse look pathetic and embarrassing in front of the entire boxing world.
Tonight, so that's strange. He's ill. He can't fight if he's ill. Okay, health has to come first.
Johnny Nelson makes it clear Jake Paul's cancellation isn't just inconvenient, it's suspicious. Fans and promoters deserve answers. This is bigger than one fight. It's a credibility disaster for Paul. While AJ's camp remains professional, Paul looks like he's ducking a real challenge. The call for an inquiry shows the seriousness of his unprofessional behavior.
Unfortunately, there is going to be there needs to be an inquiry straight after this. Why, what? But that's what I'm hearing. This news is as fresh to me as it is you. I'm quite sure when this goes out, it'll be all over the place.
YB Patreon nails the frustration, canceling last-minute damages fans, promoters, and the sport. Jake Paul's pattern of excuses makes him look like a lightweight in every sense compared to a serious fighter like AJ. Every dodge chips away at his reputation, confirming he's not ready for the big stage and exposing him as a glorified internet act.
I don't like that. People schedule fights and then they pull out. Oh, I was injured. Well, if he was injured, you won't be injured in full.
Anthony Joshua doesn't mince words. Jake Paul's attitude and antics make him toxic in the eyes of true fighters. AJ is calling out the behavior, not just the hype. He sees Paul as someone who thrives on drama, not skill. AJ's blunt assessment implies that this isn't just about boxing, it's about character. Jake Paul's antics, social media theatrics, and trash talk are all fake bravado. In the ring, that won't translate. Joshua hints that a humbling is overdue, a reality check for Paul that would expose him as unprepared for the level of a real heavyweight champion.
I feel like he's toxic. I feel like you can put any top heavyweight in the world up here and he'll probably say the same thing about them all. So it's just him as a person, and then he just needs a beat down,
Eddie Hearn's fury is tangible. Jake Paul's cancellation isn't just disappointing, it's actionable. Hearn has moved from words to legal measures, showing that Paul's unprofessionalism has real consequences. This is a warning to anyone thinking they can dodge contracts or commitments. Hearn's camp isn't just venting, they're taking decisive action. For fans and insiders, it underscores Paul's lack of accountability. The move adds a legal layer to an already chaotic saga, turning a canceled fight into a headline scandal. Paul's antics have officially crossed from embarrassing to potentially costly, making him look reckless and unreliable in the eyes of the boxing world.
Suit against him, and we'll leave it in the hands of the lawyer.
Chael Sonnen cuts straight to the point. Jake Paul is an unknown entity to serious boxing fans. His rise has been fueled by hype, social media, and questionable matchups. The Feldman decision exposed Paul's limits. Rather than taking the loss gracefully, he kept pushing, creating controversy without credibility. Sonnen highlights that Paul's career is built more on spectacle than substance. His lack of legitimacy in the sport makes every bold claim feel hollow. In short, Paul is a boxer in name only. For true insiders, this is a cautionary tale about overreach and the dangers of elevating hype over actual skill.
Problem that Paul ran into is when Feldman turned in a ridiculous decision, which is where Paul should have left it.
Tom Little strikes a delicate balance. He acknowledges Jake Paul's potential, but doesn't sugarcoat the truth. Paul has talent, but his endurance and mental toughness will be tested like never before. Little warns that if Paul's confidence is overstated, he could fold under real pressure. This isn't about hype or clicks, it's about proving oneself in the ring. Fans can hype the fight all they want, but true scrutiny comes when the gloves are on. Little's cautious yet blunt observation frames Paul as a gamble entertaining to watch, but unproven against serious competition.
I'm not saying he can't fight, I'm not saying he's rubbish, I'm not saying he's useless, but we will see how good he is. And if I'm right in what I'm saying, he'll quit.
Tony Bellew cuts straight through the nonsense with brutal clarity. He's not sugarcoating anything for Jake Paul or his fans. The implication is crystal clear. Jake Paul stepping into a ring with a real heavyweight champion like Anthony Joshua is not a competitive fight, it's a formality. Joshua dictates the pace, the distance, and ultimately the outcome. Paul isn't in the same league. He's a YouTuber turned boxer dabbling in a sport that demands skill, power, and ring IQ that he simply doesn't have. Bellew isn't just predicting a loss, he's signaling a potential humiliation, a spectacle where Joshua could toy with him. Every jab, hook, and uppercut from AJ will expose Paul's limitations, making him look like a novelty act in front of the world. For fans expecting drama, this is a warning. Hype can only go so far before reality intervenes. And in this case, reality is ruthless. Bellew's words serve as a chilling premonition, painting Paul as a man out of his depth. And this is precisely why seasoned boxers and insiders alike are openly questioning Paul's decision to even enter the ring with AJ.
Because if Anthony Joshua puts 10-ounce gloves on and gets in a boxing ring and Jake Paul is in the other corner, this won't last long. This will last as long as Josh wants it to last.
Jake Paul's comments here are bizarre, almost comical in their fixation on AJ's size rather than the sport itself. Instead of acknowledging the reality of stepping into a ring with a seasoned world-class athlete, he fixates on physical features in a way that undermines his credibility as a fighter. This moment reveals a dangerous mix of naivety, overconfidence, and an immature fascination with spectacle over substance. For seasoned boxing observers, Paul's remarks aren't just awkward, they're alarming. They hint that he's mentally underestimating the threat AJ represents. Anthony Joshua isn't just a big guy to look at, he's a devastating, technically proficient heavyweight who can end a fight in a blink. Paul's focus on superficial traits rather than the technical and physical realities of boxing signals that he may not fully comprehend the consequences of the fight he's signed up for. In short, his mindset is dangerously misaligned with the demands of a serious professional fight, leaving him exposed to both public ridicule and potential harm.
Off right here. Just looking up at Daddy there and just seeing, you know, how big he is, and just my eyes were kind of going into his nipples and stuff, which I kind of liked. And then basically I was just like, whoa, he's big in that. And then, yeah, I can't.
Duke McKenzie delivers a sobering reminder of the skill gap between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. There's no room for bravado here. Joshua would approach this fight with the focus of a true professional, while Paul's experience and preparation are nowhere near the same level. McKenzie highlights one of the most dangerous aspects of this matchup, Joshua's ability to exploit Paul's inexperience. Paul may be durable against novelty opponents, but against a disciplined world-class heavyweight, he becomes an open target. The phrase trained athlete against a wannabe is brutally accurate. It's not just a mismatch in size or power, it's a mismatch in technical knowledge, strategy, and instinct. Any movement, feint, or jab from AJ would be amplified against Paul's limited defenses. McKenzie's analysis isn't just about predicting a loss. It's about highlighting the potential for public embarrassment, physical danger, and the harsh reality that hype cannot substitute for skill. Fans often underestimate this, but insiders like McKenzie know that the ring exposes every weakness, and Paul has plenty.
I don't think Anthony Joshua would take Jake Paul lightly any way, shape or form, and he'd be so easy to hit. You're talking about a trained athlete against
Ben Davison's remarks underscore a crucial point that is often overlooked by fans and the media. This isn't just about entertainment or clicks, it's about health and safety. Paul's presence in a professional heavyweight ring carries inherent danger, not because he's an exceptional threat, but because his inexperience paired with overconfidence could lead to severe injury. Davison points out that boxing is a sport designed for respect, discipline, and preparation. Stepping in unprepared is reckless. The comparison to facing incurable men highlights that Paul is constantly risking his health in high-stakes environments he isn't equipped for. Every misstep, poor defense, or underestimation of power could have serious consequences. In the eyes of professionals, Paul's allure as a spectacle fighter is overshadowed by the real-world dangers of physical combat. The ring is not a social media platform, it's unforgiving. Paul's bravado may entertain casual fans, but for the experts who understand the sport's reality, it's a gamble with potentially catastrophic results. Davison's emphasis on protection isn't an exaggeration, it's a warning.
Holy ass. Jake Paul has shocked the world. He's done it again. He's done the unthinkable. He's done the impossible. And that's a long headline, but that's what it's going to say.
The fallout from Jake Paul pulling out of the Anthony Joshua fight has sent shockwaves through the boxing world, and the reactions from Eddie Hearn, Tony Bellew, Duke McKenzie, and others make one thing crystal clear. Paul is out of his depth, and the consequences could have been catastrophic. This isn't just about a canceled fight. It's about credibility, respect, and the harsh reality of stepping into the ring with a real heavyweight champion. Fans are left questioning whether Paul's bravado and YouTube fame can survive in the unforgiving arena of professional boxing. Anthony Joshua remains the undisputed professional, while Paul's circus-like antics only expose him further. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Jake Paul will ever step up to a serious fighter again, or is this the beginning of the end for his boxing career? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you love boxing drama, and don't forget to subscribe for all the latest insider reactions and updates.